So I want to show y'all a technique here about if you're trying to save money on fishing lures and you want to try to buy some budget lures, but also you want them to act a little bit different. If you take one of these young crawfish, what you do, it has the cavity in the center, cut a piece of floating worm and run it up into the center. That's going to add you some buoyancy. But another trick that a lot of older fishermen use is you can run a toothpick. If you'll notice right there, I've run a piece of a toothpick up into the pincher on each side. You can see there. So I've run a piece of a toothpick into each one, and that toothpick will actually add buoyancy. So just with the toothpicks, it would allow these claws to raise up, but by adding that floating worm in the center, that will let this rise up. See, I've got this on a wobble head jig. So as I'm dragging it, the body is going to want to rise up, and then you see how those claws are doing? That's what they're going to do in the water as it's being dragged through. And it's going to drag back like that right there. But it's a great technique, and it works with tubes, these crawls, any type of lure that has a cavity in it for a rattle, or I've seen some of them now, they're putting cavities in them for doing like a nail weight. But this technique, and then if you've got worms and say you want the tail of the worm to rise up, run a toothpick about half the length of the toothpick up into the tail of the worm, and that's going to give buoyancy to that tail piece and allow it to float up. So you can take a cheaper pack of soft plastics that are normally just a sinking non-buoyant type, and you can create a floating lure from it. So whenever you buy those floating worms, even if they get chewed up or something, save all those pieces, because I can show you a lot of ways to use them. So we'll give you a little demonstration of how well this works with. See, it's just a cut off piece of a floating worm pushed into the throat there, and I have the toothpicks and the claws, and you'll get to see just how much this actually does here. So let me take the camera off. So then drop her in right there, and if you see, those claws are straight up, the body is straight up. If I drag it, they float back up. When I hop it, they really stand straight up. It's a very effective way to save some money and to use scrap pieces. So, toothpicks and some floating worms can do some wonders. Let's see if we can catch that. We're on the crawfish. Oh, he spit the floating part out. He spit the floating part out. There we go. There we go, buddy. I only made 2 casts with that thing to 2 different spots. I tried one spot and then I thought I'll try another one. Hey buddy, I got you here, hang on. No, hang on. I'm trying to get it out without making the hole bigger. There we go. Alright. Healthy largemouth on the young crawl with the floating pinchers. And I had the floating worm in it and he spit it right over there somewhere around the dock. But there we go. It worked. Come on, buddy. Well, that was awesome. Well, thank y'all for watching, and I hope that helps and gives you some ideas.